the one and only Gorilla and the Cowboy. We're here, algofactory.tech, and look, this is the place. If you're listening to us for the first time live, this is the place for you guys to learn the in and outs of trading. This is where you guys will get the exposure to what we do here. And what we do is show you how to build algorithms that work on your behalf. And that is the key. That is the most important thing. So come check us out, algofactory.tech. Cowboy will flash the QR code on the screen. And with that being said, Cowboy, let's get into it.
Heck yeah, we have a pretty slow day for trading. So today is the FOMC minutes. Okay, we have about two or three major sort of announcements per month that come out of the government or the central banks, really, and all of the sort of collectors and compilers of that kind of data. And so right now, today is going to be the FOMC minutes, right? So basically what they're going to do is look at the FOMC meeting, which I believe was 2 weeks ago, and they're going to look at the notes that were all taken, right? So in any corporation or LLC or whatever, whenever they have a meeting of the board of directors, somebody's going to take notes during that meeting. And those notes are called the minutes. So they're going to, that's what that is. So the minutes are going to be revealed to the public, supposedly unedited. Who knows if that's true or not. But either way, when that information comes out, people are going to analyze that info, and it's just going to be reasons for the market to move, right? In essence, whether or not it would organically cause the market to move is one thing. But whether it's organic or not, the market does move. So what happens here is that up until that time, the market and a lot of the money in the market is going to stay on the sidelines because they don't know what's going to be on the minutes. They don't know what it's going to say. And so if if somebody's in a trade prior to that, you can get a surprise. Perhaps the tone of the meeting is different to what was expected or different to whatever was said at the FOMC when the rate was hiked, I think they hiked up, 25 or 25 basis points. It wasn't a surprise. It was priced in, but perhaps something in the something in the minutes is going to be a surprise.
There's something in the water. There's something in the water.
Some of the water, landmines, hey, for guidance, whatever it is. So until that time comes, we're not going to really know what the market wants to do. So a lot of money is going to stay on the sidelines, which means that for now, the market is slow. You're going to get a lot of ranging price action. There was some action with the beast, the GBP JPY overnight. And that's because, let's look at the economic calendar. I will bring that up briefly. We started a little bit late today. We were having a powwow, the Grill and I, just kind of looking at the entire picture. We're a little bit concerned about maybe where to reside, where to park assets, things like that. So we were just having a little discussion around that. So we did start a little bit late, but
I love putting all my assets in Sacramento, California, and in Albany, New York, right in the heart, and also in Washington, D.C. So it's easy access to our overlords.
Smart man.
Yeah, this way they can have access to it, and they can, do the maximum what they could do with equity, and inclusion.
Yeah. No, it's I for one welcome our rainbow communist overlords.
If you can't beat them, join them. I'm transitioning right now. I told you I'm going interspecial.
Yeah, you're going to be a half gorilla, half lemur.
Correct.
Is that okay? Perfect.
Correct. I'm growing my lemur tail, which is going to be permanently surgically attached to my rear end.
Okay, they got these. They got these furries now, right?
Yeah.
So
I already have mine. I already have my costume. I'm ready to march in the parade for our overlords. And who needs freedom? And I got my my protest signs for 95% income tax. Yeah, I'm ready, man.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's just a wonderful way to go. Get a nice financial enema, and I was thinking about putting all of my money into Silicon Valley Bank, but turns out that that was no longer possible. So that's hey, look, we got March up in the chat. You know March.
Hey, what's up, March?
So, but yeah, it's so what we're doing is and then again, we have the Friday is the strategic life chat, right?
Yes, it's our seminar.
So that's going to be a big one when it comes to whether or not how you want to do business, what's a way to to protect your assets, so on and so forth. Because I mean, I bet you John, he's not going anywhere, is he? He's probably going to stay here.
No, he has a backup location. I can't disclose what that is, but
No, okay. Like backup, as in what you do at the club.
um, yeah. Well, what do you mean by that? I mean, there's not so many different clubs. I mean, a dance club, a gay club. When you say backup in a gay club, it could be something completely different. Might not be something
Yeah.
pleasant either.
Well, it's pleasant for who?
Depends on if you're on the receiving end of things, if you know what I mean.
Who was that rapper? He's a fine mother. Want you back that ass up? Who was that? Was that Genuine? No, that was Juvenile.
No, that wasn't Juvenile. That was Stigmatized. No.
No.
Who the hell Stigmatized?
I don't even know if that person exists.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
It was like a magic name.
No. It wasn't. I know who you're talking about. That's. God, I can't think of his name. I used to imitate that guy.
That was.
No, not. I know who you're talking about. It's not him.
Wait, no.
Mystical. It's not Mystical.
No, right. It's Juvenile. It's Juvenile.
It's Juvenile. Yeah. So, but why does he say you're a fine mother effer, dude? You call dudes mother effers, man.
Because he's, most of these rappers are gay to begin with.
That's not true.
It is. Most of them, dude. Ever since, what do you think they killed Biggie and Pac, man? They were the last. All the straight guys and rap. All these guys. Yeah, we all know Puffy's gay. We all know that. We all know P. Diddy's gay. All these guys are all this current crop of rappers. They're all gay, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dave Chappelle wouldn't wear a dress, and they got him kicked out. So I don't know.
100%.
That's funny. We're shooting it right now, everybody, because the today's look at the economic calendar. It's not until 2 p.m. EST. I've got the calendar on Central. The FOMC meeting minutes are today. But we will not just solely joke today. We got the CPI year over year happening. I would do my mystical imitation, but like my kid's asleep, even though he's across the house, I got to really pump up the volume on the mystical imitation. That's one of my best ones. Let's see here. Let's go to the beast. Maybe at the end of the private show, I'll do the mystical for everybody because that'll be another hour. So we did have their CPY last night. So even though the market was super slow, if you look at the economic calendar here, you got the CPY year over year. And let me see. Let me refresh so I can actually get the readout. It must have been high because everything pumped. Yeah, it was just a little higher than expected, 6.8% year over year. Of course, I think here, if you believe the numbers, our year over year was down. And I know the inflation over in the UK is one of the worst in Western nations. So it's not a terrible surprise or not terribly surprising, I should say, that inflation should be high. So what happened there, and I know we talk about this, but when you have a currency, like in the current environment, they're hiking rates in order to fight inflation because that's just the tool that they have. So the economic data came out in midnight over in London, right about here, more or less. And so when the data came out a little bit higher than normal, of course, the reaction is going to be the wisdom, quote unquote, is that they're going to hike rates. But if you'll notice, it wasn't that big of a reaction. It was a reaction, but perhaps it was muted because the FOMC is today. And of course, the dollar still kind of runs everything. But, for somebody who is adroit and awake at that time, perhaps there would have been an opportunity to ride the beast up a little bit. We'll back out on the beast just to take a look at the weekly chart, really the 5-day, but you know how the cowboy does things. So the beast is, let me bust out the algos. Beast is still strong bullish. I mean, overall it's bullish. what I would be doing with the beast, I need to trade the beast a little bit more. It's been pretty good. It was a bit wicky, back a few months ago. Actually, that's several years ago. You can go to the proper time frame for that. But I'll show you back on a lower time frame. It was wiki a few months ago. Harder to trade, but now it's been, super bullish. Of course, now that means it's probably going to slow down right about the time I get into it, because that's, that can happen. But the pairs that I usually trade are going to be the euro, the cable, which is the pound dollar, you're looking at it now, and the Swissy. I like to trade the Swiss USD CHF. So those are what I like to trade, and there's some decent liquidity. The beast, actually, the spreads are a little bit deeper on the beast. You're looking at about 3.5 instead of 1.5. So you got to watch out for spreads. I wouldn't be trading the beast on day trading timeframes, even though it's as volatile as it is. It's a crackhead volatile pair. It's the crackhead volatile pairs for degens. But the problem is that you have deep spreads. So you got to be prepared for that. And if you look at the way things are reacting, these pullbacks are quick. This is a 5-day chart. So you have this big nasty move up, and then you have a hard pullback to value, basically, not even all the way to value. And it moves up, depending on how you define value. I should say pullback to structure, because the structure on the beast, this will show you how bullish it is. All of the price action that took place since like this year basically was more or less range bound for a while, and it broke the range, but it never even came back to test the range. That's indicative of two possibilities. One, that it's going to come back down and test that range, right? It could slow down, make its way down. That can happen. I mean, historically, that is what happens. So we'll look at the last time a range was broken, and this was going from, it ended at March 22, and it more or less started at April of 21. So you had like a year-long range, which would have been not a bad place to trade. And it broke out. And just like now, even to a little bit lesser of a degree, if you look at that breakout, and I'm going to zoom in so you all can see this clearly. And I never zoomed in the actual chart here. Let's do that. Make it even more clear. All right, so if you look here, and it's kind of hard to see, maybe I'll do a replay. Let's make this easier for everybody to see. So, the way to determine how something's going to behave, of course, is to go back through time. But you have to test several times. But it's going to be hard to test several times when you're looking at a weekly time frame, because you can only go back so many candles. So in this case, price broke out. And where's my path here? It broke out, and it didn't exactly retest, right? So this is the retest right here. Price broke out. Oops. Not sure how that happened. Like this. There's the breakout, and then price comes back down. You see the bottom of this wick right here? And that didn't quite touch the top of this range. So price actually continued up, as we'll see right now, without touching the bottom of the range, but eventually it does. It does touch that. And remember, we're in a high time frame now. So no one's really trading these time frames, but what ends up happening though is price does legitimately come back down and touch the range about 2 months later, right? So you get it like right here in May. So price broke out in March, never quite touched down, and then ended up touching down in May. So if we kind of bring that to the current scenario, we'll find that, let me just stop the replay because that's going to take forever. Bring that to the current scenario, we have a breakout, no retest. So there is a decent chance price definitely wants to come touch this liquidity. That's for sure. So, it would take some pretty strong events and in the current direction for this to continue where it is, right? But if we do see an event, and I know the Gorilla has talked about this, we can't really talk about it too much here because this is not the private group. But if we do see an event like we've discussed, and I'm speaking in code here for those who are in the private group and get the higher level information, then that deflationary event, if there is one, could actually see a pretty significant pullback even deeper, anywhere in this box between 171.88 and say 154.95. That can happen. And if it did happen, I think I've talked enough about when I think it's going to happen, and I know that kind of lines up with what V is also saying. It's more or less what I've drawn. So, and I'm not saying it's going to happen like this, but I'm just saying this kind of thing. It might not go that deep. It might happen sooner. It might happen later. But I do think something's going to happen, and it might not even climb that high. It could just go like up to here. So a lot of different possibilities. But whoever's playing the beast, understand that the party is going to end sometime. Like, it's been going up all year. It's been strong all year. You did have this quick pullback in July. And of course, I will say that the beast is ignoring the lack of volatility that we tend to see in August. So if you are trading like swing trading, the beast is a nice place to be. And again, for those who are not familiar, the beast is the British pound, Japanese yen, which is what we've been looking at. Probably should explain that earlier because we're in the beginner section. But yeah, here you go. This we'll take a quick lower time frame look, and then we'll get out of the public. And again, the V and I were just kind of chatting it up because we need to find a way for everybody to protect themselves from what's coming. So we were just chatting that up before the show, which is why we started a few minutes late. But that's all right. It's free. Nice double top. Okay, so we could see this is a double top, pretty strong. So the price could continue. It doesn't want to continue down. But what could happen is maybe something along these lines. Price could do a few things in the immediate term, but there's always that possibility, especially in August, if the volatility that we now see ceases a little bit sooner, we could see price kind of hop up here and then head down to there. That's a possibility, and that might constitute. No, that won't be a revisit. Let's see. Yeah, it's getting pretty close. That might be our retest. You might see a retest that looks like that. It's hard to say if it'll even go that low, but price could go that low or stop here, right about there. So this could be what happens. That's a particular formation from somebody I know. It's called that guy calls it the 2618. But long story short, this happens with double tops. You'll see them move down, and it might have to go down further to actually justify that. But this is a very possible scenario right here. Okay, well, I think that's enough for the free show. A lot of talk about the beast, but then again, that's where the volatility is right now. If you're trading, a lot of other currencies are just not doing much. So, got to be where got to fish where the fish are. Take a quick look at comments. Good hump day. Robert's listening in ScrewTube. Okay. Randy, we'll do Randy's thing real quick. He says, couple stories today. Another loaded the petrodollar, India and the UAE complete first sale. Okay, let's cover Randy's stuff in the private chat. So V, can you give us that send off?
Absolutely. Well, thank all you guys for listening to the Gorilla and the Cowboy right here on Algo Factory.tech. Listen, don't hesitate, don't procrastinate. Scan that QR code on the screen right now. Join us, Algo Factory.tech, where we show you not only how to build the algorithms and develop a successful trading strategy, but we inform you as to what is to come before it even happens. With that being said, Cowboy, let's go to the private lab.